We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 132. Today we're going to talk about my NFL picks of the week, my disastrous win week poker, and whatever else. The Mouthpiece is next. What's up, everybody? Not feeling good today. I have shortness of breath. So if I die on the podcast, I love you all. Yeah.
I won't let that happen.
No, you won't let that happen? Good. I'm sweating. I can't breathe. I'm congested. But yeah. NFL pick of the week, 14-2, 12-4 in our second best. Pretty good run we're on. Even threw in the Seattle last week on a Monday when we went to 4.5 and 5.5. I don't think the line was ever in question. The win was really nice. It's been a heck of a run. Started off this week. I almost made the Rams my pick of the week. I didn't want to do it on Thursday because the one other day we did a Thursday was the Ravens. Against the Bengals. Against the Ravens, and we got fucked. But I thought the Rams were absolute mortal nuts this week. I bet them for 2,000. And it never really was in doubt. But anyways, Merry Christmas to everybody. We have 3 Christmas games on Monday, 3 tomorrow. What do we have? And the rest on Sunday. Let's turn this off here. Why do I always forget to do this? Anyways, yeah, win tournament didn't turn out very well. I'm not gonna lie, I played well on day 1. Played that well on day 2. I went down and played the Omaha 8 or better, which I didn't do shit in. I think we talked about that on Monday. Or was the Omaha 8 or better on Tuesday? I think it was Monday. Yeah. Yeah, we did talk about that. Then I went down and played the seniors on Wednesday. I drew a good table. I couldn't make a hand. I was just 3-betting myself to survival, and just never had a hand, and never got any traction going whatsoever. Never. We started with 200K, got to as high as 290. Never could get anything going. It was just ridiculous, and I didn't even want to go down. I went against myself by going down. I didn't feel good. Haven't felt good all week, actually. And, yeah, the vlogs will be for the WP Championship. They'll be up soon. I don't know if there should have been a lot more, but I left my battery pack at home for the Omaha 8, and so I don't know how much footage we got. But whatever we have, we have. Documentary will be coming out May 1st, approximately. So looking forward to that. I'm putting a little bit of wet towel on me because I'm sweating and been shortness of breath for the last hour. I can barely breathe. But
Can we turn my hair up?
Is it hot in here?
It's warm. It's not hot. I can turn the hair up.
Yeah.
Just make it cooler if you want.
Well, it's probably just me. I don't know. Anyways, I'm a little out of it today, so I'm gonna try and get some energy going here because I just don't feel right. I haven't felt right all week. It's the weirdest thing. My brain's been off all week. Been sleeping. when I wake up, I'm extremely tired. And then, I don't know, shortness of breath and extremely tired. I should probably go to a hospital, but whatever. I'll be all right. So, let's see what's else going on in the world. Not really much. It's funny, I saw a story come out in the RJ about Sean Perry not wanting to chop the Circa Millions and how great he is. And then everybody's like, he's a piece of shit. He fucked everybody for 7 figures, blah, 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 blah. You know, like I always got along with his dad, but like his dad was like the most hated person in poker for like 20 years. And it's pretty hard to imagine just like father and son be like 2 of the most hated people in poker. That's like got to be a first. I always got along with Ralph, so I can't say anything bad about it. But most people just despise playing with him. But I think it's pretty funny. I agree with you on that. You know, but I don't feel good. It's tough for me to go down. Like my pain's been pretty good. My knee hurts a little bit since this weather got bad, but I just, like I said, I just keep sweating and I'm shortness of breath. It's been like this now for 3 days, so we'll see. I'm sure I'll be all right. I've gone through worse before. Let's see what else is going out. We've really been hot on the pick of the week. I put a lot of work into this studying this shit. We went 9-1 last week. Got second in our contest, and I need to make up 22 points in the next 3 weeks to basically have a chance to finish in the top 12. I mean, there's so many mistakes I made early in the year that really cost me a real shot to win this thing. But I'm pretty happy that I put together a lot of winning weeks, and just to be able to go 14-2 on our pick of the week on here, it's pretty unbelievable. So without ado, we have narrowed our pick of the week down to basically 2 games. It's either going to be the Cleveland, which I bet 2,000 on already. I laid 2.5 against Houston. That line is 2.5 minus 20 and 3 everywhere. Or Minnesota. And I took 3.5 with Minnesota. It's 3 everywhere. I don't think you could find any more 3.5s. But even with the 3, I like Minnesota with the 3. Those are really what the 2 I've narrowed it down to. There's lots of games I like, but these are the ones that really stick out to me a lot. Minnesota gave away a game last Saturday to Cincinnati, a game they dominated. Detroit won big, which I expected them to do, against a tired Denver team. Minnesota's playing for their season. Detroit's pretty much locked into the 3 seed. They win this. They just lock up the division. But I just really like Minnesota here. Their defense is amazing. Can't hear me. Sorry. I don't know why you can't hear me.
We have the same that we always do.
What's that?
We have it the same that we always do.
Okay.
I think you're just talking quieter.
Yeah, I'm probably talking quieter. I like Dallas. The Sharps like Miami. Miami has played nobody. Dallas has played nobody. The way Dallas got crushed last week, I think they bounce back. I mean, I know they've been terrible on the road, but I just don't think much of this Miami team. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. I like Baltimore plus 5.5 against Frisco. They've lost 3 games this year by 3 points. They led all 3 with under 3 minutes to go. They should easily be 14-0. It's not that big a game for Frisco. Frisco can lose it and win the last 2 against 2 scrubs and win the division and lock up the 1 seed. So that's kind of where I'm at on my picks. I just think that I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go Minnesota as our pick of the week. Plus, I took them plus 3.5. They are 3 now. But 3 is still fine here. I really feel like they're going to win this game. It's close, though, because Cleveland is playing a Texas team without their quarterback, without their 1, 2, 3, or 4 receivers, top 4 receivers. The center is game time decision. I just don't know how they're going to score. Cleveland has the number 1 defense across the board. I'm 1A and 1B here. Those are the 2 games that I am really, really, really focused on. Let's see. Boy, I really am out of it today, and I apologize. Let's see. We have tomorrow. Games are Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. I lean Pittsburgh, but I will never take Pittsburgh. I think they're an atrocity of a team. And I really like the Chargers plus 12.5. Here's a good stat for you guys. Teams that have lost by over 35 points the week before and are double-digit home dogs the next week are 17-3 against the spread the last 20. 17-3 against the spread the last 20. I think they fired the coach. They played on Thursday. They've had 9 days to prepare, where Buffalo will be playing on a short week, 6 days. They beat the shit out of Dallas. They beat Kansas City the week before. This can easily be a letdown spot for them. But even a letdown spot, they could easily cover 12.5 if the Chargers completely quit, even against the new coach. Now, I think that they'll play hard at home for a new coach and having 9 days off. And I kind of like the 12.5 there. So, I don't know. I don't know which way to go here with the pick of the week, whether I go with Cleveland or Minnesota. My gut tells me they're both going to win, but we can only go with one pick of the week. So we're going to go Minnesota plus the 3. I took 3.5. You can buy it up if you want. As our pick of the week, we're going to go with Cleveland minus 2.5 as our second best pick of the week. So hopefully we win them both. We've been pretty hot. And poker game, I just haven't felt good this week. I played a small game twice. I won $5K, $2,500 each time. I just haven't felt up to playing. My brain's been a little off all week. As you can tell, listening to me right now, I don't really have much energy. I'm a little shortness of breath. I'm sweating. And so I just haven't felt good. And when I don't feel good, I don't jump in a big game and play poker. So as much as I want to play poker, I just haven't had... I like the Ravens plus the 5.5. How could you not? I mean, the Ravens have lost 3 games. Every game they lost in the last minute of the game. They should be 14-0. They've lost 3 games by 3 points. You're getting 5.5. I mean, the San Francisco's missing a lot of defensive players, and they have not been good against the run this year. And I mean, the Ravens run the ball great. I mean, I don't know. it's a tough week this week, man. It's a really tough week going into week 16. You got to have enough balls to pull the trigger against certain teams, and and I'm doing it with Minnesota. You know, I took 3.5. It is down to 3. I laid 2.5. It is up to 3, but you still get 2.5 minus 20 on Cleveland. Another game I really like a lot, and the Sharps are completely against me on this game, and every time I've checkered them, I've lost, is Seattle going into Tennessee. Now, from what this is what's going on in this game is if Tannehill plays, he's actually an upgrade over Will Levis. So if Tannehill plays, I don't want any part of Seattle. If Will Levis is cleared to play and he plays on Sunday, I think we can lay the 2.5 with Seattle, even though it's a bad spot for them on a short week. Going east to the early game, it's never a good spot. But you have to ask yourself, did Seattle really pull off like the greatest drive in history against the Eagles on Monday night to go play a piece of shit Titan team whose season ended last week and go and lose? I don't think so. You know, I don't blame you staying off the game. I don't, you know. But it is a trap game. It's a bad spot. I never take bad spots. But my gut tells me that if Seattle wins this game, they play 2 powder puffs. They play Arizona and I think the Giants, some ridiculously easy last 2 games. And they finish 10-7 and they make the playoffs. So I think this is for the whole season. And Derrick Henry's out. Tennessee's best defensive run stopper is out. So there's a lot that points towards Seattle in this game, but you know, I don't blame you if you stay off it one bit. Atlanta, they've moved to a 1-point favorite over Indianapolis. They have benched Ritter again, and which is good because he's terrible. Who the hell knows? The way the thing is if you watch the game last week, okay, Seattle took the game from the Eagles. There was no breakdown. There was no Seattle's 2.5. There was no breakdown. There was no. They went out. I mean, the quarterback for Seattle made 2 perfect throws and 2 perfect catches. So, you know, let me see. You're saying it's 3.5. I don't think so. It was 2.5 because I canceled my bet. I had it at 2.5 it did go to 3.5. Wow. So I had 2.5 and I canceled my bet last night because I decided that I wanted to, I don't know, I had him as my top pick and I just wasn't sure who's going to be the quarterback. So, wow, I had the best line. I had beaten the line by a point, and then I canceled my bet. What an idiot I am. So, yeah, I had originally bet on Seattle, and then I backed off of it. And, yeah, the Browns are still 2.5, 3. And let's see, the Vikings are, oh, my God, wow. I got 3.5, and now it's 3. It's 3 minus money on the Vikings. Wow. Okay. It's amazing that I sit there and pick these games and then they end up moving the way I pick them. I wonder why that is. Maybe because I have a clue what I'm doing. I don't know. Wow, it is 3.5. It really wasn't the miracle catch at DK. I mean, he threw the ball in between two defenders. I mean, he threw it the only place he could catch it. I mean, you got to give the quarterback. He threw it the only place that DK Metcalf could catch it, and then the catch in the end zone was, I mean, the throw was just almost as incredible. Henry is definitely out for Tennessee. I know that for a fact. Geno starting, why it went up to 3.5. Yeah, well, that could Geno really throw the ball better in the last two throws that lock through against Philly? Do you really think Geno's a 1 point upgrade? I don't. I don't know. That 3.5 is too many. I'm gonna get off that game. I had it at 2.5 and I bet it, and then I canceled my bet last night at 2.5 when the line was still 2.5. Why did I do that? Yeah, I know 7 starters are out for the Titans. Yeah, I wish I didn't get off my pick of -2.5. I had it bet too, literally, and I asked my guy last night if I could cancel it because I thought the line was going to move the other way. I'm an idiot. Anyways, so we're going with our pick of the week as Minnesota +3. I got 3.5 somehow. I laid 2.5 on the Browns. What do I know? What do I know? I don't know shit. It's what I don't know. Anyways, let's see. What else are we talking about? The senior tournament, I played like shit. Never got a card. And let's see. What else is going on? I feel really good about the Vikings this week, +3. I got 3.5. And I laid 2.5 on Cleveland. Those are 2 bets I have made. I had actually bet on Seattle at 2.5, and I canceled it last night. I think I've repeated myself 3 times on this. So, anyways, let's take some phone calls and see what you guys want to talk about.
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matiso on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live.
702-329-0480. Give us a call. We could talk basketball. We could talk baseball. We could talk the NFL. We could talk poker. And we could talk the old politics if you really, really want to. I don't see Goff having 2 good games in a row either. The Viking defense is a monster. But Detroit plays much better inside than they do outside. They've been terrible outside. So we'll see. Welcome to the Mouthpieces, Mike. All right, give us a call back. From what I was told, that Henry wasn't playing. But you guys might be right. But I know they're missing a shitload of starters. I can't believe that line moved to 3.5, and I laid 2.5 yesterday. Welcome to the Mouthpieces, Mike.
Hey, Mike, it's Drew.
What's up, buddy?
Listen, hey, man, it's awesome. I mean, I got something to talk to you about.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know you want to get political tonight, but I got to talk about this shit.
Sure.
Well, I mean, Colorado. What the fuck?
Well, this is what it is you have to know what's going on, okay?
I do know what's going on.
Nikki Haley had risen to 22% in the polls. And they had to stop her momentum. And how do you stop her momentum? You throw in some ridiculous fucking Trump can't be on the ballot, unconstitutional bullshit. And then Trump's poll numbers go back up because they want Trump to be the nominee. I said it before.
Okay,
I'll say it again.
I don't see how you arrive at that. I don't know where you're getting Nikki Haley. I don't know where she's coming. There's no way she ever.
I agree with you.
Dismiss that.
I agree with you.
I
agree with you, but they can't take a chance. They have to have Trump as a nominee.
Who's they? Can you tell me who's they?
The fucking Uniparty. The fucking Dems and the fucking GOP. They're all in the corrupt fucking uniparty.
Well, the GOP, the rhinos in Colorado are the ones who took them off the ballot. They're the ones about to launch.
The GOP,
You're aware of that.
you've heard me say it before, they hate Trump as much as the Dems hate the Trump.
I know that. We're not. That's not for debate. I'm not debating you on that. The thing is, he got taken off the ballot the same week.
It's going to get overturned.
The same week that the decision on the stupid special counsel was coming down from the Supreme Court. We all know that the Supreme Court is leaking like a sea with all the stuff that's going on. Well, there's a big leak and we know who's leaking the stuff. It's the left-leaning judges and their clerks.
Yes.
So this decision about the special counsel has been known for a while.
Yeah.
Within the thing, all of a sudden, these 3 rogue Supreme Court justices in Colorado make this out of bounds decision?
If you read what the Democrat, the 3 that sided against taking him off the ballot, like they're like, what are you guys crazy? Like you can't take somebody off the ballot for something that he's never been charged with or convicted with. We have due process in this country. You know, it was done for political.
Hey, look at far right Mikey in your chat. You look, hey, far right Mikey.
That's
Trump
Brandon.
is guilty. Insurrection.
Brandon can't help himself. Yeah, Brandon.
Far right Mikey. Ooh, I'm a commie. Are you from Red China there, little Mikey? Far right Mikey. I like your little thing there, Mikey.
So
you're real good at it.
I did your political compass yesterday, and far right Mikey came up dead in the middle. Like there's 4 lines. My dot hit the middle of the dot, literally, and I'm going to talk to far right Mikey. You're the one who's making alt accounts on YouTube, and you're trying to question people's intelligence. You're making crazy things to make a stupid one-joke alt account. You're 5 years old, Mikey. Far right, Mikey. That's Brandon.
Grow up. Anyway, I think this is weird. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's up in the air to me. I don't know. Trump should be on the ballot. I don't know if he's going to make it.
Oh, he'll be on the ballot. That's for sure. You know.
I mean, and I don't know what's going to go on if he gets elected. Say it's election night, he wins. And
he can't. They'll never let him win.
By 2%.
They'll never let him win,
huh?
bro. They'll never let him win.
Okay. If he wins.
I hope he wins, but they'll never let him win.
Okay, if he wins, what's that going to lead to?
It's going to lead to civil war. It's going to lead to civil war.
Try to burn shit because they've been allowed to burn shit for 4 years now.
It'll lead to civil war and civil unrest throughout the country.
Do you think far right Mikey is a fit fighting soldier?
No, he doesn't know what he is.
I mean, far right Mikey, how much can you look to see? When's the last time you saw your penis, far right Mikey? Can you look down and see your penis?
Probably.
I don't think so. You big fat fuck. Anyway, hey, I love your picks of the week. I don't know what happened to you. You've become a sports betting savant.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
My whole life, I just bet every game on the board, every halftime, every first half, and then whatever was at halftime, and I would just bet every game and just throw an opinion. And then I decided I was going to try and fucking start winning and betting. I only bet $2K on my top 2 picks, and that's it, no matter what. So I can never. Your
poker brain is coming through because I read a comment.
I do listen. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to some sharp people. I listen to what their basically what their opinion is. I listen to a lot of stats, and I try and take the stats and put it with what my brain and my eyes tell me. Like I told everybody 3 weeks ago that the Pittsburgh Steelers were awful, that they were the worst 7-4 team in history. Because I saw what my eyes were telling me. Out of the 11 games, they had been outgained in 10, and instead of 7-4, they should have had 2 wins, 3 at tops.
They got the absolute worst of the leading teams, like leading into the playoffs. They're the worst quarterback. Yeah, I mean, it's a team. Kenny Pickett is terrible.
Yeah,
he's a terrible quarterback.
And my friends are like, "Well, Pickett might come back this week." I'm like, "Well, he's the 31st ranked quarterback. Like, why would you want the 31st ranked quarterback back?"
I mean, somebody should get what's the coach there, Tomlin. Somebody should tell Tomlin that he needs to go on vacation for a year. I don't know. Come up with a scenario.
Listen, my best
where
friend.
You have to go. You're bedridden. Somebody fake jump you. Go away. Get the first pick of the draft where the quarterback is available, and you'll be just fine as right as rain. Pittsburgh will be back on the mountaintop, and people will stop calling for you to be fired, Mr. Tomlin.
Yeah.
You just got to go take a long walk in the woods for a year or two.
My best friend, my best friend's a diehard Pittsburgh fan. They've lost 3 in a row. He's hoping to God they lose the last 3 so they could finally fire Tomlin. That's what he told me. You know,
I don't think you should fire Tomlin.
You know, you do or don't?
Anybody who could – what? How would you want to fire a coach who could take a team quarterbacked by Kenny Pickett?
I agree.
7-4 record.
I mean, exactly. That's what I told him. I said, dude, you got a team that's 7-7 that should be like 2-15, and somehow they got 7 wins, and you want to fire Tomlin. You know. Yeah,
you just need a quarterback. You need a tank and get a quarterback. Speaking of tanking teams, and my favorite whipping boy, and those luckiest fake Hall of Fame head coach in the history of the world, Greg Popovich.
Oh yeah,
oh
he's
my
a
God,
fan.
the Chicago media. He's from Chicago, and I think he's a little borderline racist because when he talks to those Hispanic reporters down in San Antonio, he couldn't be more rude. But he's up there in Chicago talking to his Chicago boys. They're talking. He's really affable. And then, all of a sudden they start chewing him a new a-hole because his players keep consistently ignoring the number 1 pick because they're like, you think he stinks, you don't eat, like, or whatever. What a fraud you are, Popovich. You're the Forrest Gump of the fucking NBA Hall of Famers. All your Lieutenant Dans are gone, and you're just floundering in the wind. You can't even make these little teenagers come out of the NBA pass to the 7'4" guy on your team. You are worthless. Yeah. Anyway, that's my thing. Thank you for your time.
Man. You got it. Have a great weekend. Merry Christmas, man. Take care.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
All right. Yeah. So, I can't believe that the line in the Seattle went to 3.5. Like, I literally texted the guy I bet with last night and asked him to cancel my Seattle at 2.5, and because I thought the line was not going to move. And somehow I found a way to fuck that up. But,
hello?
Welcome to Mouthpiece. Mike, what's up?
Hey, Mike. I was just, I've been watching a lot of they've been doing a lot of the replays of WSOP, I would say from 2004, and I think now they're at like 2008.
Yeah.
And I was just going over some of those and how great those episodes and those productions were.
Yeah.
And in particular, you are a comedian. I mean, it's just, I don't know if you're like the funniest parts of the shows.
Well, I used to be funny because I still am funny, but the only difference is I take things serious now because everybody's so good. So I really don't talk that much. I try and focus. Where before I could play like half-ass and beat everybody, so I can make fun of everybody. So it was a lot more fun,
Like right now, I think right now I'm watching some of the 2008, and I think I don't know. It just brings back so many memories of like just the personalities. Like there was this guy. I watched this guy today. He had no arms, and the guy's playing poker, and he's got no arms.
I remember him.
Yeah, and I forget I forget what in 2008 you're still in the money. Like I don't remember them, but I know like you're still in the money. I was wondering, do you still watch those once in a while, or are you kind of like?
I got ESPN, like I got DVDs of them, So I've got the 05 main event DVD in my drawer. I've got the 2005 Tournament of Champions in my drawer. So I watch them once in a while, but
yeah. I have Poker Go, so I have access to them, but I just for some reason that you just never really go back.
Yeah.
But since they're on YouTube and I've been kind of getting into them, it just kind of it was just kind of interesting to go back and go through the different seasons. And
you know, it's like the one guy said, you know, if you watch the 2005 main event, when I flop 3 kings, if the guy doesn't go running hearts, poker, I win the World Series of Poker, and the trajectory of poker has changed forever. So, you know, it's.
And I was watching 2007, and like there was the one where I think it was Scotty Wynn blew up. He was in like 12th position, and he basically
he grenaded.
He was like he grenaded.
Yeah.
And then there was this other guy like Liam or Liam or something, and he basically had second in chips, and he just grenaded his like he must have literally gave up $1 million in like value. Just he would if he would just not played one hand, he could have easily got like 4th or 5th.
I mean, when the 2008 one comes up, wait till you see how I got knocked out 30th for all the money. Ace Jack versus Ace 9, kind of Ace and a 9 on the turn. Or I might have final tabled that one too. That was the first year of the November 9.
Yeah, exactly. It's the November 9 in 2008. I think they're just talking about that.
That would have been so amazing. But you know, I'm still playing good. I thought I played really good at the WPT Championship. I thought on the day of the seniors event, I had a good table and wasn't getting any cards. I 3-bet like 4 times with nothing. Just tried to keep my stack up, and I just kind of blinded down to 20 big blinds, and I kind of bluffed off my chips. But if I didn't move in on the turn and just called the turn, I would have gone broke on the river anyways, so I don't feel too bad. But
yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to like you just got to start, you just got to make some plays, and just like there's like a lot of luck involved too.
When you get down to like 20 big blinds, you gotta really focus and find a spots to you don't want to get down to like 8, 9 big blinds. So you kind of look for your spots, and but you got to do it patiently. If you don't find a spot, like I'm always looking for a spot. Like when I'm playing poker, I am always looking for a spot to 3-bet or a spot to open, or I'm not looking. If I look down and find a hand, that's like bonus. But the key to tournaments is picking your spots correctly. And I thought I did that all day perfectly on day 1, and I thought I did it perfectly on day 2, and all 3 of the days I played in the main. I thought I did it pretty well on the seniors event, but because it was 40-minute levels and the blinds going up so fast, you had to find more spots, and I just couldn't find them. And I ended up bluffing off my chips, but it was like guy called. I raised under the gun with ace queen. Guy called out a small blind. Came king 10 blank, and then he weak led for 16K, and I called, and it came a blank on the turn, and he weak led for 16K again, and I moved in, and he called, and somehow he had ace king. Now I thought he was really weak. If I just call when an ace comes on the river, I'm probably going to move in on him and I'm go broke anyways. So I didn't feel so bad. But the same guy that played that hand that same way, when I raised under the gun with 7-8 of clubs, and it came 6-7 on the flop, he let out into me. I called. Came a 6 on the turn, he let out into me again. I called. Came a king on the river, he let out into me again, and I called, and he showed me ace queen. So the way that he flat called and let out, I just didn't think he was that strong again. And I was wrong. So happens.
Yeah, I always get like perplexed. Like when players like donk into you, like sometimes they'll just like play so like randomly. It's just like it's really, sometimes it's kind of goofy, hard to put them on a hand.
Yeah, I mean, against the older guys in the senior event, I really. It's real, most of them don't put it in without a hand, and so it's kind of easy to play with. And I thought I really had a good table. I mean, there was a lot of really, really great players over the age of 50 that were in that tournament. It wasn't a soft 150 player 10K, but I drew a good table, and I just couldn't
What's
get
the
making
minimum
hands.
What's the minimum age for the seniors?
50.
Oh, geez, because I'm 45. I'm 45, so that's like getting pretty close. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
but I mean, it was a pretty soft seniors tournament. I mean, it wasn't a soft seniors tournament, but I had a pretty soft table, and I was able to just, like, when I blinded down to like from 200 to 150 right away, and then I started opening pots, I noticed everyone's folding, right? So then I just started open. Then they opened, I was 3-betting, and next thing I knew, I had 290, and I never really had a hand. But then the guys behind me doubled up to like 400 and 600. And so I had everybody behind me that had like 500 or 600 while I was at like, and so now when I opened, they were just defending all the time. So I knew right away that I had to slow up. And then once I slowed up, I just couldn't catch any hands. And that's kind of it.
Yep. That's how it goes sometimes. Well, that's just why I was calling in, and that's basically all I had to say.
I appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend. Merry Christmas.
All right, take it easy. Merry Christmas.
Peace. 702-329-0480. We talk about the NFL. We can talk about my Lakers are horrible. They won the in-season championship, and they're 1-7 since. And LeBron had the balls today to come out and say, we're tired. Well, Jesus, you're tired. They're tired, what, 20 games into the season? 25 games into the season? Give me a break. Fucking LeBron's a pussy. They need to get a shooter is what they do. They have nobody that can shoot a three-pointer. You can't shoot a three-pointer, you can't win the NBA in 2023. Sorry. And that's their problem. Looking for this is a really important week in the NFL for me. I have to have a big week to have a chance. 55 points available. I've got to go. I've got to get 42 of them. If I can get 42 the last 3 weeks, I think I can make up the 22-point deficit and finish in the top 10 and get cash. So we'll see. I won $2K last week for getting second in the league, which paid for my league, which is $1,500. So that was good. So we're looking forward to a good week. I'm really mad that I got off of my Seattle at 2.5 when I thought the line was going to move to 3.5, and then I don't know. For some reason, I just canceled the bet, and now you guys told me it was 3.5. I wake up today, it's 3.5, and now I feel like a sucker. So, I had them as my number 10 originally. Actually, I had the Rams as my 10. I had them as my 9. I had the Vikings as my 8, and I had Cleveland as my 7. I moved the Rams to my 5. I still had Seattle at 2.5 as my 10. But with all the injuries and stuff, I decided, it was a really bad spot for them on the short week going across country to the early game. So I settled on Cleveland or the Vikings, and the Cleveland game is basically an injury game. I mean, can the Texans really win 2 in a row with a backup quarterback and missing their top 4 wide receivers? And against the best defense in the NFL in Cleveland? And my answer was no. So that's where I have Cleveland. But also, I don't know, the Vikings I like the way they played last week. I know Detroit is very, very, very overrated. They got Denver perfect, third road game in a row last week. I just think that the Vikings, with an extra day of rest, I just think that it's a game they have to have, and their defense is really good. So, that's a good question. Why not get on Cincinnati? Now I have Cincinnati marked on my thing, but people I listen to really like Pittsburgh, and I don't like them, and so I'm not going to take Pittsburgh for sure. But Cincinnati, okay, they won the game against the Jags. Jags had all those injuries. Then they won another game. I forgot who they beat. But like last week against the Vikings, they were beaten. I mean, they were bludgeoned in that game. For them to win that game was like a miracle. And so, Browning isn't Burrow. And the loss of Reeder, their best defensive tackle, is very, very big for Cincinnati. I lean Cincinnati, but I mean, you're laying 2.5 on the road with Browning as your quarterback and your best defensive player, tackle Reeder, out, and also Chase is also out for the Bengals. And when Chase is out for the Bengals, this is going to be a tough game for them to win. I elected to stay off the game. I originally had the Bengals pick, but I'm staying off the game. I think Taylor Heineke makes Atlanta a much better team. Their defense has been really good. I don't see Indianapolis beating Atlanta in this game. Atlanta's season's on the line with the Saints losing yesterday. If Tampa Bay loses this week, which I think they're going to, you're going to see 3 teams at 7-8, or all 4 teams at 7-8 if Atlanta wins. From what I was told, Jamar Chase is very doubtful for the game. So, I don't know. And let's see. I mean, if he's out, that's just big on the offensive side. And I think the loss of Reeder really hurts. Really, really hurts Cincinnati's pass rush. I know you guys, Rudolph is starting, and you guys laugh about it, but I always liked Mason Rudolph. I always thought he was way better than Trubisky. So he could be an upgrade. So who knows, So we got we have the Pittsburgh game tomorrow, and we have the Charger game tomorrow. I'm gonna, I don't want to keep just don't want to put out all these games like I'm some great handicapper, because I'm really good on my top 2 or 3 picks, and I've been on fire all year. It's tough to pick more than 3 games in the NFL, and I like the Chargers a lot. Getting 12.5 tomorrow, might even get 13. 9 days off. They fired the coach. They quit on the last coach. Again, the Bills have to come flat over beating Kansas City on the road and Dallas at home to save their season. Do I think the Bills win? Yes, I do believe they win. 13 points on the road. I mean, there's no way I'm not going to be on the Chargers in this game. But I don't know if I'm going to bet them. I made 2 bets. I had 3 bets made. I made 2. I've got plus 3.5 with the Vikings and minus 2.5 with Cleveland. Those are the only 2 bets I'm making this weekend. Wish us luck. If I win those 2, I will come back and bet the Ravens on Monday night against San Francisco. So if I don't, I probably won't bet the Ravens. So we'll see what happens. 702-329-0480. Give us a call. We have a short podcast so far this weekend. It's Christmas weekend. A lot of people are listening today. We could talk about NBA. We could talk about hockey. We could talk about politics. Whatever you guys want. 702-329-0480. And poker is interesting. It's good. I can't complain. Like I said, my brain. Chase is out. I was sure Chase was out. I was positive he was out. So, I just can't lay 2 points on the road with Browning and no Chase. I mean, and no Reeder. I mean, you think Cincinnati is any better than the Steelers with missing their best defensive tackle, their best wide receiver, and their quarterback? I mean, you think Browning is that much better than Mason Rudolph? You think no Chase, that Pickens isn't better than no Chase? Those are, I feel pretty good about the Vikings, the Ravens, and Cleveland. The Cleveland game is an injury game. I mean, you're still laying 2.5 on the road with Joe Flacco. I mean, they're still missing their starting quarterback, their backup quarterback, their starting running back. But they have the number 1 ranked defense, But they give up 9.5 points a game at home and 32 points a game on the road. But they're not giving up 32 points a game to Case Keenum and a 5th, 6th, and 7th receiver. But their top 3 receivers are 100% out. Their number 4 receiver has not practiced all week. That's just the Cleveland game, Maybe I should make Cleveland my pick of the week. My gut tells me the Vikings, I don't think much of Detroit. I think the Vikings have been, look at the game they gave away last week. They were like 99% to win that game, and then they'd have a playoff berth locked. So if they lose this game, and even if they beat Green Bay the next week to go to 8-8, and then they lose to the everything will be locked up, so Detroit will probably rest everybody in the last game. But if they beat Detroit this game, if Detroit loses the last 3 and the Vikings win the last 3, the Vikings win the division. But I don't see that happening. I see Detroit losing this week, winning next week, locking up the division, and the game against Minnesota meaning nothing in week 18. So, thoughts of Sheiky going to jail. I've known about it for 2 years. He got a sweetheart deal. He only has to spend 4 years in prison, which he'll do 2. He's an idiot. What can I say? He ran a pot shop in San Diego without a license. He got shut down and was warned by the state not to open one up again or do this again. And of course, Sheiky thought he was smarter than everyone else, and he opened up another one after he had it shut down. And they're really strict about running pot shops with no license. And that's why he could have done 20 years in jail. He had the best lawyer. He had my lawyer, Chesnoff, best lawyer in the country. And he got 4 years, and he'll have to do 2. Do I think you might want to upgrade or add to your skills like you advised Phil to do? Well, I didn't learn poker to study hands and history and spots and go into a lab and study poker. That's not why I got into poker. I got into poker because I have a great feel for the game. I have a great feel for weakness and strength. And if I'm on, I know where I'm at all times. And that's just it. And so I think that my sizings are great. I know when to empty the clip. I use my tight image really well. And I think the only reason why I haven't won a major no limit hold'em in a while is I keep making one tiny mistake. And most of it I've used as excuse, which is when I'm in pain. But lately I haven't been in pain, and I've been making one tiny mistake, and I don't know why. Always play to win. By the way, I used to always chop, but I play to win now because Daniel taught me something like 20 years ago. If you chop, if someone asks for a chop and you agree to chop, the reason why they're asking for the chop is they need the money. So if you say no to it, you could put more pressure on them because it's more pressure on them to win. And I never thought of it that way, but it makes total sense. So ever since Daniel taught me that, I never chopped. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm at a table where somebody asks for a chop and I look at the opponents that I have left and I feel like they're better than me or I don't have an edge, then I would, if it's significant money, maybe I would take a chop. But I like to win, man. It's all about winning. I don't want to chop shit. I want to win outright. So, I think I'm going to have a great year in poker. Right now, my mind has been a little bit off. After I went broke on Saturday, I partied a little bit, and my brain hasn't been right since. And so I just need to recalibrate and get my brain right, and hopefully, my pain levels stay down. They've been up the last few days. That's because it's been raining nonstop. But when my pain levels are down, I usually play really good. I really love the way I played. I mean, except for, for 8 hours and 59 minutes on day 1A, I thought I was the best player. Then I grenaded my stack. I dug down deep, came back 2 days later, had 400K with an hour to go. Got really, really unlucky. Then we come back to, day two. Come back to day two. I chipped up from 149 to 390 on a really easy table. And I had complete control of the table, and they moved the chip leader of the tournament to my right and the second chip leader of the tournament to the left. So I had 1.7 million to the right, 1.5 million to the left, and I was at 390K at 6K, or was it 8K big blind. And I was sitting on 50 bigs, but it didn't matter. I couldn't open a pot. And it really sucked. So, whatever. I win at the World Series every year. I don't need any excuses. I just, whatever. I play in pain and I win. So I've had 4 losing weeks in poker in the last 4 years. Not 4 losing months, 4 losing weeks. So I think I know what I'm doing. And I'll continue to keep playing well. And then we'll see what happens, I can't complain. My life's good. And I do enjoy picking winners in the NFL. It's fun. It's fun when you study and you go over injuries and you look for spots and you take them. And you're right. When you jump on a team against Kansas City on the money line, which I did when Denver started this run, and you're right, and you just see spots. And it's like you see, if you follow things and you're like, because of the fact I'm at home all the time, so I'm not like playing poker live all the time, and I have enough time to really study and watch the games. It allows me to see who they're playing the following week and where they sit. Now, my first intuition for the week was Seattle -2.5 is my top pick, right? My second intuition was the Vikings as my second best pick. My third best pick was the Rams. But then like I said, I noticed the spot in Seattle was a really tough spot coming on a short week to the early game next week. And I kind of backed away from it. I wish I didn't, but we'll see what happens. And then we'll see what happens with the Hall of Fame next year. All I got to do is just keep playing good. I'm not going to lie. I'm not in the tournament. I thought I played great all 3 days. In the cash games, I don't feel that I've been locked in where I was for when I had that winning streak and I was telling you guys how great I was playing and how locked in I was and I was seeing the field so wonderful. I don't feel that right now. And so when you don't feel it that way, you tend to not want to play, or you're kind of a little bit scared to play which makes no sense, since I should never be scared to play. But you know, when the game's playing big and you can win or lose 30, 40, 50,000, then you just, that's right. I've played 6 weeks in the last 4 years. Yeah, you got it, buddy. No, I've missed like 3 weeks in the last 4 years. So, you know, I play good, and I play smart, and I take small losses, and I don't take big losses anymore. If I feel like I'm a little bit off, I get stuck, I quit for the day. And that's really what you have to do to win in poker, because then you come back the next day, you're locked in, you start winning, and you win 5x more than you lost the day before. And that's how you keep yourself winning week after week after week. If you're playing 8 hours a day, win or lose, and you feel like you're off a little bit and you don't quit, then you're just going to have a lot of losing weeks, you know. So, also medication is important. Since the doctor put me on Seroquel, which was the World Series of 2021. So we're talking now 21, 22, 3 World Series and 2.5 years. I've had like 2 or 3 losing weeks in poker. So, you know, getting my brain right is important. Getting my medication right is important. And again, it's been a little bit off this week. And so I haven't played this week. I played a real small game twice. I won $2,500 both times. And I didn't feel I was sharp. When I first got on the podcast today, I wasn't feeling good. Now, as you can see, my energy is good. I feel good. So if a game goes tonight, I'm going to play. And that's just it. One thing I learned is my whole life, I played poker. I got up every day, slept 8 hours, played 10 to 14 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week. Now, I play 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. And if my brain's not right and I get stuck 10K, I just quit. You know, I don't feel right. I quit. If I make a big mistake, I quit. The other day I won 2,500, but I lost 3K on the second hand dealt. Like my brain had a complete, I can't even describe to you. I'll explain to you the 3K I lose in the hand, because it was so insane of a horribly played hand that it's like not even possible. It's kind of like the King Jack hand on the last hand of the night of day one of the WPT. It's just impossible that my brain could do something like that. But you know, this PLO, I raise it with ace, king, king, 6, double suited. I get 3-bet by a pretty tight player, really tight player, to 248. Small game, 3-6-12, half PLO, half hold'em. Now, I know I'm supposed to make it 550 and fold to a 5-bet, but that's just what you do. Instead, I mean, you can't make this up. I 4-bet pot to 900, telling myself I'm going to fold to a jam. Then he jams, but he jams and I don't put him all the way. He jams pot. I don't put it all the way in. And so I said I was going to fold if I got jammed on. And instead, I fucking called, but left $32. Now, if you go all in, you get 2 boards. So now I only got 1 board. He had aces, and he made the nuts, and I got stacked for 3K. I'm supposed to lose $500 in this hand. And if I play it as bad as I could play it and decide to go with the hand, I'm supposed to get the other $32 in and get 2 full boards. And maybe I win one of the boards because I was double suited. So I not only misplayed by not min 4 betting and 4 betting to 900, and then calling off a jam, but not calling off the entire amount where I get to see 2 boards. So I completely disintegrated the hand, lost 3K, and I ended up getting that back plus 2,500 within 30 minutes. But that's no excuse for playing a hand an abomination the way I played it. It was an abomination too. Like even late in day one of the main, like I don't 4-bet 10s. You know, if I'm going to 4-bet the 75K and the guy's going to jam on me, I've got to call. So it's just a call, and it was a mistake. And so again, it's all my mistakes happen late in the day. Is it because I'm not used to playing the long hours and I'm not really in the shape I need to be in? Probably. But not eating correctly. I mean, there's a lot of things I need to adjust. I got myself an IV after day one, and so I was really, because they really helped me at the World Series this year, going into day 2, and I played great in day 2. I really did. If they didn't move 1.7 million to my right, 1.5 million to my left, I thought I was going to get to 800,000 without ever risking a chip, and it just wasn't meant to be. So I could have folded. Guy jammed. I had 12 big blinds. He jammed 11 of them on the button. I had king, queen of clubs in the big blind. I mean, my gut told me to fold, but I just couldn't fold it. You know, just king, queen of clubs. I'm just flipping against almost any hand. And he had ace 10 of hearts where I'm flipping, basically. He flopped 3 hearts, and I had 1 big blind left, or half a big blind left. So then I quadrupled up to 36K, and then I had 3 big blinds left. And if I could have just got that all in, tripled up, who knows what would have happened. But anyways, all right, guys. You know, we had a smaller podcast this week, about an hour. And we're going to have another podcast next Friday. So I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and we're going to do a podcast before New Year's next week. And I would love you guys all. The Minnesota Vikings +3 as my pick of the week. My second best pick, Cleveland. I like them close to the same, but my gut tells me it's going to be the Vikings. And let's see if we can go to 15-2 on our pick of the week. And if it's not, well, then we drop to 14-3, and that wouldn't be the worst of things anyways. Have a good weekend, and thanks for listening to The Mouthpiece.
The Mouthpiece.